Good morning, and thank you very much for having me here today. It's a great honor to be with this distinguished audience and researchers from different parts all over the world. I want also to thank the organizers from the Andalas University in Indonesia for investing so much effort so that such event could come into life. As you see, the title of the talk is an ecolinguistic analysis of public discourse on banning plastic bags. Well, the purpose of this talk, as you can see here from the title, is to present the findings of a small-scale study that is meant to analyze the public discourse pertaining to the case of banning plastic bags in Morocco, to analyze such a discourse, to determine, or with the aim of determining, the most prevalent thematic units in such a discourse. So as you see, no one can deny the negative impacts of these plastic bags on the ecosystems. So they are widespread in our surroundings and on landscapes in seas and oceans. And many ecologists say that plastic bags are hurting the environment in many ways. Animals like turtles might swallow these plastic bags, and it seems that the whole earth is suffering from plastic bags. It seems also that plastic bags, as you can see in this image, stifle life on this planet. Consequently, Morocco has launched a strict ban on production, import, sale, and distribution of plastic bags by putting into practice many laws. However, the measures taken by the government to ban plastic bags are not sufficient because plastic bags are still used and they are still widespread everywhere. For instance, plastic bags are widely used in shopping, and according to consumers, plastic bags are offered for free, unlike other alternatives. These questions remain ever present. Number one, why plastic bags are still widespread despite the measures taken by the government? Number two, what practical remedies could the present paper suggest for the sake of alleviating the threat of plastic bags to the environment? And the most important question here is number three, how does the way language is framed and used impact how we treat our ecological surroundings? Reviewing the literature reveals that language can influence how human beings perceive ecology. For instance, ecology has been articulated in media in a great deal of studies. Other researchers have investigated agency and nominalization and how lexical and grammatical choices are manifested in ecological discourse, in addition to the analysis of metaphor in ecological discourse. Recently, some researchers have examined other types of discourse that are not necessarily ecological within an ecological framework. Investigating such kinds of discourse, such as the economic one, however, has generated the emergence of a new environmental pragmatism in this field according to SPACH 2009. Accordingly, there is an increasing dominance of a narrow economic discourse in this field, and environment in turn has become capital, and ecosystems have become goods and services. As a response to this devastating pragmatism, social ecological economics, a term proposed by Spach and Aslaks in 2015, has emerged to criticize the ubiquitous use of economic and monetary terms in ecology. Along the same vein, STEEP 2015 called for the incorporation of ethics and respect in discussing ecological issues and proposed the term ecosophy, which is the researcher's philosophical stance towards the ecology. Within the framework of pluralism advocated by Spash and Aslaksen and Steve's philosophy of respect and ethics, this paper is meant to provide the readers with a normative orientation towards the environment and then re-establish a new understanding of ecology. To attain this end, public discourse on banning plastic bags is analyzed to determine the most common themes in what government officials and ordinary people articulate about the issue. With regards to the research methods, 20 spoken samples of government officials and ordinary citizens were retrieved from YouTube. Subsequently, these samples were checked to identify the most dominant features or thematic units in this discourse, and identifying the most frequent themes was carried out by calculating manually the number of words pertaining to each theme in the spoken samples, with the aim of answering our main compelling research question: what are the most prevalent thematic units in the discourse of banning plastic bags? The findings of this study reveal that the most frequently mentioned themes in such discourse, in the discourse of banning plastic bags, are economic terms and monetary values and numbers, as well as legislation. And the least frequently mentioned theme is the ecological one, which means that the ecological theme is not adequately raised in the public discourse of banning plastic bags. Concerning the discussion of these findings, adopting this pragmatic economic perspective in approaching ecological issues might not lead to the intended outcomes, because these plastic bags are still used and they are still produced in Morocco. The ordinary people's perspectives on banning plastic bags fail, therefore, to include ecology in their views. What is mentioned rather is the damage and negative influences that this banning can cause to their daily returns, but not to the environment. And this is in agreement with Holland 1995, who claims that people cannot regard as important anything other than their own interests and wallets. In a similar way, the most frequent themes in the official government talks are the economic and legislative terminology, as well as monetary values and numbers. The causes of this neglect might be attributed to the ecological issues lacking a voice at the political level, according to Spash and Aslaks in 2015. Therefore, the language of ecology might be overshadowed and eclipsed by the language of economy and monetary values in the public discourse of banning plastic bags. In summary, economics and legislation, as well as monetary values and numbers, occupy a large space at the expense of the ecological theme in the discourse of banning plastic bags. This gives rise to the requirement of re-establishing a real beneficial ecological discourse that goes beyond the pragmatic and instrumental concepts to value ecosystems. It is time to go beyond the approaches that serve short-term purposes by making of ecology a source of return and ignore the long-term ones in which ecology could be preserved for the future generations. Thank you very much for your attention.